When I was 21, my older brother told me something everyone thought was stupid. Stop chasing a degree, learn a trade nobody wants to do anymore. Plumbers and electricians are dying out, and nobody's replacing them. At the time, I was halfway through a business degree. All my friends were racking up student loans for marketing and communications programs. Everyone around me was convinced a bachelor's degree was the only path to a real career and real success. One night, my brother caught me stressing over tuition. He wasn't the type to lecture, but he had dropped out of college at 19 to become an HVAC technician, so I figured he had a perspective worth hearing. He pulled out his phone and showed me his bank statement. One invoice, $8,500 for 3 days of work installing AC units during a heat wave. He said, everyone wants to sit in an office. Nobody wants to crawl through attics in 110-degree heat. That's why I can charge whatever I want. Your degree will put you $80,000 in debt so you can compete for $45,000 entry-level jobs. I'll make that in 2 months. That conversation stayed with me for weeks. I kept thinking about it while sitting through lectures on market segmentation and corporate strategy, watching my loan balance creep higher every semester. Eventually, I went to the registrar's office and withdrew. I enrolled in a 9-month electrician apprenticeship program instead. My parents lost their minds. They said I was throwing away my future and embarrassing the family. My friends thought I'd completely lost it. They talked about internships at tech startups and marketing agencies, while I showed up to hangouts covered in drywall dust. One friend said, "You're really going to spend your life doing blue-collar work? That's what people do when they can't hack college." Another laughed and said, "Good luck finding a girlfriend who wants to date a guy who smells like sawdust." They bragged about LinkedIn connections and networking events, then joked that my networking was asking Home Depot employees where the wire nuts were. I'll admit, there were moments when I pulled up to their apartments in my beat-up work van while they drove their parents' hand-me-down sedans that I wondered if my brother was wrong. But then I'd remember that $8,500 invoice, and I kept grinding. For 2 years, I worked under a master electrician, learning residential and commercial wiring. I ran conduit, installed panels, and troubleshot bad circuits, whatever paid. I studied at night, worked weekends, and eventually got my journeyman license. I started taking side jobs on weekends to build experience and cash. My social life basically disappeared. My friends assumed I was too broke and tired to keep up. While they posted about happy hours and weekend trips, I was crawling through crawl spaces and studying for my master electrician exam. Then I started noticing something. Every contractor I met was booked out for months. Every homeowner had horror stories about electricians who never called back or charged insane prices for basic work. The skilled tradespeople were retiring or dying off, and nobody under 30 was replacing them. So I got aggressive. I earned my master license at 24, younger than almost anyone in my state. I started bidding on commercial jobs my former boss was too busy to take. New construction, panel upgrades, EV chargers that were exploding in demand. I hired 2 apprentices. I bought a second van. Within 3 years, I was running a crew of 6. We were pulling in $40,000 in revenue, and I was taking home more than my business degree ever would have paid me. Last year, I personally cleared $180,000. My friends are still grinding entry-level corporate jobs, making $55,000 a year and drowning in loan payments. 2 of them asked if I was hiring because they can't afford rent anymore. One admitted she's $90,000 in debt and her salary barely covers the interest. Meanwhile, I just bought a house in cash. I'm expanding to a second location, and contractors are calling me begging for help because nobody else is available. Turns out my brother was right. Everyone wants the degree, nobody wants to do the work, and the ones willing to do the work get to name their price.